to break the games down. Week 1 is here. We're going to break it all down right here on the bottom line coming up next. It's finally showtime in the UFL for the 2024 season. Time to bring in my astute co-hosts, Easy E and Brett the Hitman.
It's game week, fellas.
Finally.
All
those weeks we sat there telling them to hurry up. And now finally the season is here. You're not excited, are you, Brett?
It's kind of surreal, isn't it? Been waiting on this forever.
Brett's as happy as a puppy with 2 Peters, man. He's ready to go.
So
we all are.
We're going to break down all 4 games for you. And first game on the docket, first game on the schedule is the Birmingham Stallions at the Arlington Renegades. Battle of the champions from last year. I found it only fitting that we ask our man Brett to break down the game as he sees it, at least from the Birmingham Stallion point of view. And then hopefully we'll have a special guest coming on to break down Arlington. Might have to ask Brett to be a little windy, which I'm sure is not going to be a problem. But
we can talk an hour on Birmingham. I think you'll be okay.
What do you think, Brett? What are we looking at? First game right out of the chute.
I think it's going to be a spectacle. I imagine probably all the powers that be will probably be there, from Dwayne, Danny, Fox, Moose, Russ, Brandon. Everybody will probably be there, expecting a good crowd. Going to be a great game. I think the point spreads haven't came out yet. I think I was told that's going to happen in the morning. My anticipation is probably about a field goal, 3-4 point spread between both teams. Man, it's been talking about it, thinking about it for months on end, and here you are. So you're almost speechless, or I am. I'm just happy we're finally going to see football Saturday. Early kickoff. I really anticipate a very good game. Of course, I'm biased, but from what I gather, Corral and J. Mar is going to rotate at the starter position. Going to have some packages for both kids. Birmingham pretty much made it through camp healthy. Of course, they made some cuts like all the teams did. That was kind of unexpected, but like Bob Stoops said, this is kind of like the all-star spring leagues with this merger, putting both leagues together and only having 8 teams. Man, I just expect hard hitting. Defenses will probably have a little bit of advantage the first couple of weeks, but we did have a month-long camp, so we'll see. From what I gather right now from players and coaches in Arlington, they're saying that Birmingham looks like head and shoulders a better team than anyone right now. Now, a lot of teams don't show everything during, those scrimmages. It's very, very vanilla. Arlington has a history of basically their defense should be able to keep them in just about any game. And then, of course, you got Mr. Spring Football himself, Luis Perez, quarterback in Arlington. Again, both teams won their respective championships last year, the USFL and XFL. Uh, man, let's just get this going. We're here. It is finally here. What are we? 4 days, 5 days? I don't know. Let's just fast forward our life till Saturday. Can we do that? Where's Michael J. Fox when you need him?
Crank up the DeLorean, the flux capacitor.
Where's the DeLorean and where's the Doc at? We need Doc.
Well, I was at the championship game last year, where Arlington totally shocked the DC Defenders, and I think I'm still shocked a year later. I honestly don't think that Birmingham is going to have many struggles with Arlington. I think I agree with what you talk about as far as their defense goes. I think they definitely got Arlington has the defense that they can keep it close. I don't know. Maybe Perez is all that, but I don't know. They like to say that he's unbeatable, but how many Super Bowls did Tom Brady lose? So he's
right.
He's not indestructible.
I'm telling you,
I think Arlington's going to have to win the Battle of the Trenches Saturday to have a chance. And again, Arlington fans probably jump on me and say, "Hey, it's just because you're a Birmingham fan, season ticket holder, yada yada yada. You run a Birmingham group." Yeah, but I'm about as realistic as the day is long. Arlington, it's going to be a spectacle. I think it's going to be a really good crowd. Both teams are going to be very pumped. But I feel like at a lot of skill positions on both sides of the ball, for Arlington to win Saturday, they're going to have to definitely win in the trenches and probably win in the turnover battle. To me, I keep thinking if they're +2 in turnovers, they might have a shot. But who knows? Well, we'll find out Saturday, won't we?
I look at these games and I think it's probably, it's clearly all speculation because we don't know what these teams are going to look like when you bring 16 teams, you condense them down to 8. I mean, any one of these teams could completely surprise us. But I would say that, and I'm a fan of the Spring League. I'm not a fan of Birmingham or Arlington per se, but I think, when you look at these teams, strictly on paper, I agree with you, Brett, and to your point, if Arlington cannot win in the trenches for sure, I think that it's going to be a long day for Arlington. I mean, if they cannot hold up front on both sides of the ball, I think they're probably in trouble in this game. I really do. I think they've got to win up front. Not even talking on the back end, not even talking about running the ball. I mean, they have to win up front starting out. If they can't do that, it is going to be a long, long day, I think, for Arlington.
So what do you think, Brett? You know the Stallion team better than any of us for sure. Do you think Birmingham is going to start conservatively, or do you think they're going to try and put the pedal to the metal and see if Arlington can hold up?
Man, I think, attending both pretty much every home game Birmingham's played in a championship game in Canton last year, I think first drive with the wide receivers we have, Kane and Williams is back. The tight end that I still cannot figure out why he's not in the NFL. I expect Birmingham to take a shot downfield first, second play of the game and just go vertical and see what we get from there. Skip's known to take a shot, and Arlington's fans are going to need to be in it. I know it's a new season, but looking back on 2020 and looking back on last year, I keep remembering how the Renegades kind of started both seasons off slowly. And that will not bode well for them Saturday if they do the same again.
Well, they've got some tough competition right out of the gate. They're, at home against Birmingham, and then they turn around and then come to St. Louis on the 6th. So, I mean, if they start out slow, it could be a 1-2 barbecue to start the season. So, like I said, they're going to have to win the trenches in both of those games, I think, to have a chance to win. At least on paper, for sure.
Yeah, Arlington's got a very tough schedule to start the season. Then Birmingham's in Arlington for week 1. Then we go to Detroit, play Michigan week 2. Then we've got our home opener against the Showboats. And then the following week, I believe the DC Defenders come to town. And I feel like 3 out of our first 4 games are definitely against playoff competition. So, yeah, both teams have very tough schedules to start the season off with.
On that USFL side of the UFL conference, if you want to call it that, I have the Birmingham Memphis game circled.
Yeah,
that's the first one of 2. That'll be a measuring stick, I think, for both teams to see who's going to come out on top on that side. The USFL on the USFL side of it. So yes, I know Jersey Arlington has a good defense. We did allude to that. And yes, Luis Perez is unbeatable. We get it. But I'm telling you, if they cannot win in the trenches, it's gonna be real tough. It's gonna be tough. That's my belief, at least on paper. Now, we could get there and it could be something totally different. But my prediction, and I think it'll be a prediction you see in a lot of these games is, can they win in the trenches? What team sets the tone, up front offensively, and then what team can set the tone up front defensively as to how these games go. And then, of course, that shifts the games. Let's say Arlington on defense is holding their own up front. Well, that's going to shift the game a little bit for Birmingham. Birmingham may come out and they may try to run the ball, and if they are able to run the ball and they're dominating up front, man, you're gonna see a boat race there. But if Arlington holds their line up front, now Birmingham may have to shift and they may have to go more to the air. And then now that becomes a shift to the backside of the defense. Can the backside of the defense hold up when they start pushing it through the air a little bit more? But initially, I think a lot of these teams are going to feel some stuff out. And, there's going to be a lot of handoffs initially just to kind of see where guys are at. And if Birmingham dominates that line of scrimmage up front from the get-go, with the big belugas up front, it is going to be a tough day for Arlington, I feel. But Arlington can do the same thing. I just think that if Birmingham wins the trenches and they dominate in the trenches, I don't even see this as a field goal game. I see this as a boat race. But like I said, this is just strictly paper right now.
So, Brett, I put Jersey's comment up here. Birmingham's O-line better protect Jamar. Can't stay healthy, Smith. So
what do you got for Jersey there, Brett?
Got for Jersey on that one.
No, I can repeat in a polite company.
Okay.
That goes both ways, and again, a lot of your XFL fans don't really believe in Birmingham, don't believe in the USFL teams. They might after Saturday, and I'll leave it at that. But now, one thing, honestly, and I've thought about this, Birmingham has played the majority of their games the first 2 seasons, either at home or neutral sites. If Arlington can put 20,000 butts in the seat Saturday, that can present a problem. That Arlington gets the early lead, the crowd's going wild. It's already going to be a crazy environment. Look out. Things can happen. We've all seen hundreds and thousands of games. This is definitely a tough road matchup for Birmingham against a well-coached team, a fundamentally sound team, a very physical team. So I guess we'll do our predictions in a little while. I would still have to give a slight edge to Birmingham. But once again, flip a quarter on some of these games, especially first game of the year. Now Birmingham's returning quite a few players from their first 2 seasons, so there's some familiarity there, and same with Arlington. So I think we're going to see a good game Saturday. I don't think it's going to be your typical first game of the season. A lot of these guys have played together for a while now, so
Okay.
it should be some good football.
Moment of truth. We got to stay on track here. Week 1, Birmingham at Arlington. I'm taking Birmingham. Brett, I got you marked as Birmingham already. So
Give me Birmingham.
Eric, Birmingham.
It's a sweep.
All right. We're going to a commercial break. And when we come back, the great Mike Palco from Michigan Panthers will join the show. Oh, I got to keep reminding myself. I got to put that at the end of the show so that I don't have
Yeah,
that
so
urge.
we're not looking to pop one open here.
Without further ado, I'm going to bring him on.
Boom.
We're talking. Here he is, the one and only.
Big Mike,
It's
Heard
time,
what's up, bud?
it's time
Well-
to start talking Panther football.
Oh, I heard USFL, and boom, here I am. So, hey, I got my conference, right? My conference hat on,
Yeah,
right?
that's the conference.
The second game on Saturday. The big
Oh boy.
bit show, the big first or the second, I guess, of 2 interconference games. It is going to have the St. Louis Battlehawks traveling to Detroit, Michigan, for my first ever trip to Ford Field. Can't wait.
We can't wait to have you.
So let everybody that's listening know what they can expect from the Michigan Panthers in week 1.
Well, I can tell you what, that's one thing they can expect is a good turnout with at Ford Field. I actually spoke with the ticket office today, and they are pretty pleased with what's the turnout, the tickets. The ticket office is busy at Ford Field, so they have a lot going on there. We're going to have a lot of Battlehawks fans, I'm sure, come along and join the fun. But it's going to be a one that what a better way to start off the UFL season with, we have 2 champions, I would say, between, the Stallions and the Renegades. But then the encore, the main course, in my opinion, is probably your 2 of your best fan bases. Now, nothing against, we love our Stallions fans out there, but I think Panthers fans will give them a run for their money as far as fandom in the league. I think the league's gonna be pretty pleased with the turnout, but I think it's gonna be a close contest on all fronts with this game. Everyone's with Birmingham. I'm on the side with picking Birmingham. I think this is gonna be the one that surprises some people. Everyone, they think that the Birmingham or the Battlehawks have this one in the bag, but this will be one of those any given Sunday kind of games. People may not, be sleeping on the Panthers, but I think Panthers win a close one.
Mike, there's been a couple questions come across our comment section, and they've been asking about what they think the attendance, or what we think the attendance is going to be for the the incoming USFL teams. you said you talked to somebody in the ticket office, said things are looking good. Were you able to get a hold of any numbers or any type of, guesses as far as what they're thinking is going to be at Ford Field on Saturday?
Nothing about attendance, but they are as far as the league goes, they are in the top tier of revenue generation so far in the UFL.
Okay. So can expect a pretty good crowd then on Saturday.
Yes, yep. So right now they have the I asked you, I'm one that likes to sit pretty high up. So they have the top 20 rows available on the seating. You can see on the Ticketmaster, but they said, if you need to sit up a little higher, which I'm gonna, see how high I could sit up, because I'd like to be able to see everything. I'm gonna explore. I'll sit with some people for a little bit, but then eventually once the game starts, I'm gonna try to kind of linger upwards, and just so I can get so I can scan the entire field and see plays develop.
Yeah, I love seeing I love having the bird's eye view. That's a lot
Yeah,
better to me.
that's my spot.
Yeah, I agree. I like the bird's eye view, so I can see the receivers coming open and see where the quarterback is looking. That's always better. At least I think anyway.
So,
And I think too, it's good for taking pictures of the crowd too.
Yeah.
So is Michigan named their starting quarterback?
I have not seen anything yet. I'm going to assume EJ Perry is going to be the guy, but this could be a whole, who knows what Coach Marcel likes for the offense. I think it's going to be pretty much whoever was able to grasp his air raid offense probably quicker. Now, there's nothing I have read that, no one's named a starter, so we may not see till kickoff. But from what I've seen off of last year, EJ Perry can throw the football, so it's just who can grasp the offense. I think that's who gets the nod.
What do you think is going to be their emphasis in week one? Do you think they're going to try and control the clock with more of a running game, or do you think they're going to try and catch the Battlehawks off balance and fill the air with footballs?
I see Smash Mouth, right? This is the kind of, might be a little feel out process to start with, because they have invested in Wes Hills, leading rusher in the USFL last season. I think it's going to be a slower pace, just kind of how feel out the Battlehawks a little bit. And as the game goes on, then you might see them try to air it out, speed and space as the game moves forward.
Now, I know early on last season, the Battlehawks come out of the chute very, very conservative. And a lot of times it took till the second half of ball games before we really would open things up. But Coach Beck, we had him on once, but I've heard him say a couple times that if they learned anything from last year, especially with the playoff rules, that they need to come out and put the pedal to the metal and put points on the board from the get-go. So I have a suspicion that I think the Battlehawks are going to come out fast and hot and just see if they can get Michigan on their toes.
They may need to, because this is a defense that has plucked some players from the Pittsburgh Maulers. So we know how lethal of a team the Maulers were out defensively. So you have some players in secondary that have come from the Maulers that it's gonna be interesting to see how they play against the Battlehawks. I know that they have a good wide receiver room, so it's gonna be interesting. I can't wait.
I think that's what St. Louis is going to try to do. When we lost Max Borghi, when he decided he was not going to play, you look at our wide receiver room, even with Jay Peasy out for a little while, and that will certainly help Michigan. But the wide receiver room is definitely, I think, the plus on St. Louis. So I think the stress is going to be, can Michigan's up front guys put pressure on AJ enough to try to keep the pressure off the backside of Michigan's defense? I think that's going to be a key on Saturday. If they can't do that, if they can't put the pressure on AJ, I think AJ could have a really good day. I really do.
But I think about that too, though. I think I've said all along, ever since they picked up Wayne Gallman, I think he's going to be a weapon. And, you talk about somebody with NFL experience. I thought he did a pretty good job of backing up Saquon Barkley when Barkley blew his knee out that year, and they had to use Gallman the rest of the year.
100%.
I thought
100%.
he did a good job. So, I think they're going to use him to kind of try and keep Michigan's defense off balance. So I guess we'll see. But so what can you tell us about Michigan's defense? I know you talked about it had a lot of new additions, but
Well, what we can tell you is that the staple of the defense. So you have obviously the anchor of the defense, which Panthers know is Frank the Tank, Frank Ginda, linebacker number 5. So look for him to be flying all over the place as far as defensive side of things. And then Breland Speaks, probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite player on the Michigan Panthers. Nice edge rusher there. So he may give AJ McCarron some problems. So he may need to have a quick release in order to not have Breland Speaks right in his face or take him down on the turf.
so we had a comment from they're talking about the success of the Lions. Do you think there's any validity to the fact that you'll still have fans that are pretty pumped from the NFL season that are going to roll right into the spring football?
Oh, no doubt. We didn't want the NFL season to end, but unfortunately, it does. We're hungry. There's a big appetite for football. I don't think there's a better time right now than where this league is positioned, especially in Michigan. We're ready to roll. We can't wait. We want it now. But 5 more days, a Frank Ginda number of days from kickoff.
We all want it now, but we got to wait 5 more days.
Yeah.
I can't. It's only going to make it that much sweeter. And it's. I love it. I'm looking at the schedule here too. I love it. Week 1, all the games are. So 2 of them on Fox, 2 on ESPN. Very accessible to everyone out there. If you don't have ESPN, I know for a time where I didn't have cable, I went to Buffalo Wild Wings. Said, hey, can you have the game on? I was watching USFL, XFL at the same exact time. So have that. Bring some friends. Bring a group of friends. Go out. Maybe not everybody in a sports bar, would know that it's even on. And all of a sudden, if you have it on the screen for everybody, it's like, oh, football, when's this start? Then you just, it'd be creative, fun, have a good time.
Well, I don't want to create an excuse for the Battlehawks. But what I will say is this game, if I had to venture a guess, is probably more important for Michigan because with Michigan starting with, I think, 3 out of your first 4 games are at home. So it's really important for you guys to start fast. So
very important.
If the Battlehawks can come in and steal a win on the road, we're sitting pretty. But if you guys are at home starting 0-1, that kind of starts putting you behind the 8 ball early. So.
Yeah, because you have Birmingham the second week, 3rd week with Houston. So very important, very important. But I think this is also I feel like this one's a really this is just about as big of a bragging rights game as it is the first one. I'm probably more excited about this one. I think these are 2 very passionate fan bases, and I think both want this one just as bad. And having it being a week 1 match, I think that's probably one of the best decisions the league has made thus far, is having this being an opening day matchup.
Well, I know that I was going to ask you for tailgating advice, but you've told me a couple times now that you're not
a big tailgater.
Yeah, you like going in early.
Yep, I'm one of those early birds. Just getting to I'll walk around. I like to do a walk around, see who's all there. See if I can catch anyone. Walking out through the tunnel on the pregame warm-ups. I like to be, one of the first people there. But if I plan on being there early enough to where I can walk around and, meet some tailgaters, talk some football. So,
well, our second week in St. Louis, we're only planning to tailgate for about 12 hours, Mike. So Daddy Ed and I are exactly the opposite.
No, we got
that all set.
Home opener is at 7 at night. So we're trying to convince our tailgate lot to open up at 7 in the morning. So,
oh my gosh! Well, I'm sure Battlehawks fans will be there.
God, I can't wait. Okay, it's that time. So I'll let the guests go first. I think I know who you're going to take, but
maybe there might be some surprises in there. We'll see.
Okay, so why don't you lead us off? Michigan or St. Louis?
I mean, it's got to be the Panthers. I think they'll win a close one here. I don't know how it's going to be. It might be. I think we're going to get a low scoring game, especially with the week one. You know, we want to see some. There's no preseason for these guys, so you can only practice so much. You know, I'm sure the contact is pretty limited when you're going against your teammate. So they're going to be hitting. You know, I know you had scrimmages and stuff, but I'm sure they play cautious there. But now we're live now. So I expect a low scoring game. It's going to be some smash mouth. But I got a Panthers at home week one. I think they take it.
Now I'm going to have to go Battlehawks. And I guess the biggest reason why is that last year they showed that they were a way better road team than they were a home team. For whatever reason, they just were never quite able to get that true home field advantage with the loud crowd that seemed to play their best football on the road. So I just have a feeling Coach Beck is going to have his team ready to go. So I give it to the Battlehawks. What do you think, Eric?
I'm going to go. Definitely I'm going this way, but I'm thinking more along the lines of Excalibur, and I'm thinking more of a 21-17, 24-17 game. First week jitters, first week, figuring some things out. Now, the nice thing about the Battlehawks is they have A.J. McCarron back with Butler and Shepard. Goldman, I think, will figure it out, or one of those backs, they'll work in that way. But that familiarity between McCarron and those receivers, I think, is going to get it done. So give me the Battlehawks 24-17.
What do you think, Brett?
I think Michigan's defense will definitely keep them in the game. I don't think it'll be as one-sided as a lot of people online are predicting. Between Gidna and Speaks and some of the other guys that Mike had mentioned, Michigan has a really, really strong defense. I just don't think they have enough on the offensive side of the ball. So I would definitely take St. Louis, 20-17. But it should be a tight game. Michigan's defense is going to hold them in there. I just don't see them being able to get enough offense, for the W.
Well, Mike, I want to thank you for joining us. You definitely won't be a stranger. In fact, I'm open to having you on every week for our pick segment if you're up.
I'm thinking maybe we ought to have him on next Monday after the St. Louis Battlehawks Michigan game.
Yeah,
so we can talk.
It's going to be a long drive home if we lose. That's all.
I know that I'm going to have to get some tea and honey because I may not have a voice for after that game. I'm going to be, whenever the Battlehawks offense go on the field, I'm going to help get the crowd, the noise decibels up there. I think it's because one thing I loved about even last year too, it gets loud enough to where they're going to cause some false starts. It'll be pretty loud in the dome.
All right. With that said,
and one more thing though, when you guys go to Ford Field, you're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be probably one of the better stadiums that you have watched a football game. There's not a bad seat in that place. It is awesome. Take a walk around. Take a look at the lighting is great, top to bottom. You're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet you too. So I'm sure we'll hook up. So
yes, sir.
Good luck. Not too much good luck, but when we come back, we are going to break down the DC Defenders and the San Antonio Brahmas.
Take care,
Go
Mike.
Panthers.
Same great taste. Yes. Same great taste. Same great taste.
Definitely the segment into the Brahmas game.
That's right. You can tell we're going to the Brahmas game. We got another special guest sitting. No, I It's not who you think. In fact, let's bring him on. Maybe we'll let him talk about this game a little bit too.
Hello.
Oh, it's not who I thought it was. Welcome,
What's
Bill.
up?
Thank goodness it's not who I
What's
thought
going on, Bill?
it was.
What's going on, guys? What's going on? It's finally here, week 1.
Oh, man.
Week 1.
I challenge every fan base in the UFL league. San Antonio beat everybody to the punch and made a video of their team that we played. I'll put the challenge out to every fan base
Who?
that wants to put it together. We'll play it. You get it to us and we'll play it. So San Antonio was obviously that one, as you could tell.
That was a good one.
They're the only ones that they all have horns growing out of their heads. So I was supposed to have a guy come on and talk about DC, but
That's not me.
and
That's
he's
definitely not you.
he's supposed to be the
I can talk about him, but talk about all you guys. What I can do. Was that guy before me for Michigan? What was he thinking about? I mean, good Lord, that game
he was a
could've got
guest.
in
He
quick.
was a guest. We're being nice, we're just creating a conversation.
So are you
Ah,
so are you telling me that you don't necessarily agree with his pick?
no, I'm a big Panther fan. I used to love Panthers back in the day, but this ain't your mama's Panthers, I don't think. So I make it throw farther than their quarterback, I'm sure. We'll see.
Ugh.
We got their quarterback. He's our third string at the Showboat. We're so good.
Well, if we ever get our esteemed guest to show up, I got 2 esteemed guests showing up. I was going to start off with DC and then end with
Bill says I'm here. What are you
What are
talking
you
about?
talking about?
well,
You don't get no more esteemed.
I was going
Right.
to say, if you want to talk about DC, Bill, go ahead.
Oh,
All right,
let's
look,
not.
Yeah.
I may make those beer snake people really mad, but I think they got a really good team. I picked them second in the league to start the year off. This is, because, hey, we're all putting cats in a bag right now. We don't have any clue, but I think they got a good team. Running back kind of hurt them pretty bad. So I think they'll beat the Brahmas pretty handily.
Well, I got a lot of respect for DC.
Oh, yeah.
What they say, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Yeah,
right.
that's all of us here in Memphis. We know who our daddy is right now. It's those damn Stallions.
That's right. Well,
At some point, we're going to beat them. But right now, look at that.
Well,
Look at
he
that.
had to wear it. He had to wear it tonight.
he says,
Come
"Get
on.
up." I say, "Yeehaw!"
Hey, Bill, I will tell you, I am representing, though.
I
I
see
am
that.
representing.
I know the guy that made that. That's really nice.
I have had the chance to interview Coach DiFilippo a couple times. I tell you what, the one night we had him on the show, I was ready to pad up and get going, man. I love his energy. I love, I just love his message. I love what I think the culture that he's trying to bring to the Showboats is.
Yeah.
I mean, man, I was pumped, man. I'm a
Sure,
Memphis
You're
fan.
gonna have to wait, man.
Ugh.
Bill, I'm going to put you backstage again. I'll bring you on here in a little.
What? Hey,
Are we still
this-
doing
this
DC?
show-
we can do those
this show may
last. We
leave.
can do them last.
Back. I'll bring you right back. I got to bring on the Spurge.
Oh man.
Finally, some class to this show.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking.
It's nice that you finally decided to join us.
Yeah.
You said 8:40. I still had a minute. You said 8:40. I still had a minute.
I kind of had that segment messed up because Leo, I told 8:40 as well.
I know. That's me and Leo. We're coordinating to come on. But thank you for having me.
So anyway, you got DC. Start talking.
DC? What do you mean? What about DC? What about them? They have the two best quarterbacks, the two best mobile quarterbacks of all time, in Jordan Ta'amu and DeAndre Francois. I mean, yeah, listen, Abram Smith is out, blew out his ACL, right? But they are the second place people in the XFL. Birmingham has Wade Phillips as their head coach. We all know how Wade Phillips is. He's about as bad as Skip Holtz, and I mean, that's all there is to it. even though Birmingham won. Oh, here. Oh, look who it is. It's the Rig Rocker. He's not on my. No. Where's Leo at? Where's Leo?
All I know is you better hurry up and get finished because Bill, it seems like the more he hears you talk, the more bent out of shape he's getting.
They
So,
bring Bill on because somebody stole my Memphis Showboats flag. Look, I have my Memphis Showboat hats right here. I have my footballs right over there.
we're not talking about Memphis, dude. Come on.
We're talking about DC. You're supposed to be our
What is there
DC
to talk
guy.
about on DC? This is a given game. This is a given game. As much as I hate to say it, and as much as I would like DC to win this game, I don't see DC winning them because without Abram Smith, this is just not a good team. That's all there is to it.
Because what you're saying is DC is a run first, run second, run third team. You take Abram Smith out of there, aren't they down to like their third running back or something?
Yeah, they are. I mean, if you look at it,
yeah,
if you look at it, Jordan and DeAndre are both running quarterbacks, right? Now,
right.
Jordan's got a great arm. Look, Jersey, that's beside the point of who the best quarterback is in the game. Jordan is undefeated in the dome still. But look, you take out Abram Smith, what happens? They don't have Blake Jackson, their number one receiver from last year. He's on the Battlehawks team.
Yep.
You know, their tight end guy is gone. Look, as much as I love DeAndre and I love Jordan, in my opinion, without Abrams, this is a totally different team. Totally different team.
So you know
You're
what?
saying, go ahead, Ed.
Now that you've totally misrepresented the DC fan base.
No, I didn't misrepresent them.
We're gonna. Well, let's get your pick though. So you're taking San Antonio, right?
I mean, as much as I hate to say it, yeah, I'm taking San Antonio. I'm a realist.
Okay, goodbye. Okay. Now we talk.
Hey,
There, now we got Leo. We got
From
the voice of reason.
Guns podcast. Let's welcome Leo to the show.
how you guys doing?
Good, Leo. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. Thanks for having me. This is exciting.
Absolutely. So last year, the only thing I remember San Antonio saying at the end of last year is, when the schedule gods come out in 2024, please don't schedule us on Easter morning.
Yes.
So then what happens? The 2024 schedule comes out, and who kicks it off Sunday morning?
Opening day, Sunday morning, 11 a.m. kickoff. It couldn't be more difficult situation for the city of San Antonio and Brahma fans. The city of San Antonio, which is a very, very Catholic city, I might mention. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. They didn't listen to us. I guess they thought we didn't know what we were talking about when we were, talking about our own city.
So what can you tell me now when Hines Ward exited and Wade Phillips come in? Did you notice a change, any kind of a shift in the type of team that the Brahmas were going to be in 2024?
I definitely think there was a noticeable shift. Yes. We all know that Wade Phillips is a defensive mind, a great defensive coach, very well respected around professional football, and for good reason. But that's not the change in focus that I think we saw with his arrival. I think it's more on the offensive side. So maybe that has something to do with H.A. Smith. I don't know. Maybe that. I think Wade kind of feels like he's got the defense under control. So let's work on that offensive side and get that side of the football in order, because his defense is going to be good because he's Wade Phillips and he knows how to put a good defense on the field.
So have they named their official starter the quarterback?
They did today, and it was a surprise for some. A lot of people thought with Quentin Dormady, being the their top pick in the draft that we just had a couple months ago, and and he performed well for the Guardians last season. He did very well, but he's not the guy. Now, as I've understand, it was a very tight competition all the way up to the last minute, which is why they've just made the announcement today. But Chase Garbers is going to be the starter out of University of California. He was with the Raiders on their practice squad and on the active roster, and got to start a couple of games. So he's got a resume. He's got some experience. I figured he was going to come in and make some noise when I saw that they signed him and brought him out, and he's going to be the day one starter for the San Antonio Gunslingers. But as I understand, it was a very tight race. All three guys, the other guy that they have there is Tom Flacco. If you know, I'm sure you've heard the last name. You know, he's Joe Flacco's little brother.
Don't say that, Leo. Ed's going to lose his mind. Don't say Flacco. Say something else.
Okay, we'll just call him Tom. We'll just call him Tommy. As I understand, Tommy's done pretty well too, and according to AJ Smith, he's comfortable with all three guys. But at the end of training camp, there it was a 2-guy race, and it was right to the finish. And Chase Garber is the guy that's going to be QB1 this Sunday on Easter.
So before we get to the picks, what is your gut telling you? Not your heart, but what's your gut telling you?
My gut is big, so it's pretty close to the heart. Big Daddy Ed. You know, you like to talk about the U. I've seen
maybe.
What's
you
that?
In the loo. You
in the loo. Yes, you in the loo. You know, I can relate. I can relate for sure. So it's hard for me to differentiate between the two, but right now my gut's telling me the same thing that my heart is, and I think San Antonio is going to surprise some people because I know DC is coming in as the favorite in a lot of people's eyes. But I think the Brahmas have some really good talent on defense. I think DC took a big hit. Obviously, when they lost, the MVP of the team, Abram Smith. I think he was MVP of the league, wasn't he? Last season, the XFL. Huge part of that offense, and I don't know that they're going to be the same without him. And I think offensively, this Brahmas team is going to surprise a lot of people. It's going to be a very, very stark contrast to the very conservative throw the ball in the dirt if the play isn't there offense that we had last year, which was very frustrating. Can't tell you enough how happy I am that we're not going to see that this year in San Antonio.
So I'm going to put that down as an official vote for the San Antonio Brahmas.
Yes.
I can't tell you when it comes to my pick, I can't tell you how much respect I've got for DC. I was at the game in DC, and it was a back and forth game. DC ended up pulling it out. I definitely thought leaving that game, coming back to St. Louis, that when we got them at home, we would take care of business. And they proceeded to come into St. Louis and thrash us pretty thoroughly. And like I said before, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And I have a lot of respect for Reggie Barlow as a coach. Talk about from beginning of the year to the end of the year, I just thought he had his team at a high level consistently the whole season. So until St. Louis can beat DC, but again, until San Antonio can beat DC, I got to go with DC. So that's my pick.
I have to agree with you on the sentiment with Reggie Barlow. A heck of a coach, and really he was the only successful rookie professional coach in the league last year, and showed his chops. So I have nothing but respect for him as well.
I gotta side with Leo here. I think the Abram Smith hit, and not having Jackson the wide receiver spot. He's now thankfully with the Battlehawks. Maybe somebody in that backfield. I think they're down to their third running back. Maybe he ends up being the guy, and DC's able to do what DC, wants to do. I just think the Abram Smith hit hurts really bad. And I do agree with you, Leo, that, Wade Phillips is going to have that defense, ready for that run. And I think they're going to try to make them throw the ball. And I'm just not sure they're capable of doing it, at least initially. So I'm going to go with Leo, and I'm going to take San Antonio.
Yeah,
I'm not worried
easy.
about the whole beat the man thing. I think San Antonio's got this.
Okay, Brett.
DC, pretty much what Ed said, was the best team from the start of the season last year in the XFL to the end of the season. They just got caught in San Antonio by Arlington, a hot Arlington team. Got defeated, but a lot of the DC players are back from last year. I understand the running back and this, that, and other. Too much DC. I will honestly, since San Antonio's at home, and I was such a big proponent for San Antonio getting the spring football team the last few years after the AAF debacle. I'll be pulling for San Antonio, but I just think there's too much DC. Hoping I'm wrong, but I think DC by a touchdown.
Well, Leo, I want to thank you for coming on. Hopefully I can get you to come on. I know I can't do it every week because you got a show to do, but everybody, if you get an opportunity to listen to the Smoking Guns podcast, Leo and Philip and RC do a great job. They're on Monday nights at 7, so they start an hour before we do. But I'm a big fan of their show. I've listened to them ever since they've been on. So again, thanks for coming on, Leo, and hopefully we can have you on again.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Thank you, Ed and Easy and Brett. Always a pleasure with you guys, and I'm excited to see some football this weekend.
Let's get it going. Thanks,
Yeah.
Leo.
Bye-bye, guys.
When we come back, it's time for Memphis and Houston. Be back in a second.
Houston, we've triumphed. I've made it back to Earth with the cargo intact. The game-changing, time-sensitive payload is none other than the revolutionary energy flavor we've all been waiting for. Introducing Merc Mayhem Cherry Limeade. Merc Clan played a crucial role in securing this energy flavor, and together we've unlocked the future of power. Merc Mayhem is not just a drink, it's a statement, a fusion of relentless energy and bold flavor. The secret is out. Merc Mayhem is set to redefine the energy landscape, leaving ordinary drinks in its cosmic dust. Get ready for a taste explosion that matches Merc Clan's unparalleled power. Join the revolution, and let's unleash Merc Mayhem upon the world. Astronaut M signing off.
Now let's bring on.
Not yet. So over the weekend, I had the opportunity of sitting in on a Coach DiFilippo press conference he had on Saturday, and I had the opportunity to ask him a question. So let's go ahead and play that for you now before we bring on our next two guests. It's made, and now the shift turns to week 1. How does the practice schedule, what's that going to look like heading up to game day?
Yeah, well, right now we're bringing the players. I gave them today and tomorrow off, and then Monday we'll come in for an hour practice introduction to Houston. A couple periods of practice. We'll get some special teams in, all versus Houston, and then the players will be off on Tuesday. That's their we're mandated to give them a day off. I like to give our guys Tuesday off as much as possible on a normal week because I like to get the players in on Monday and win, lose, or draw, put the game to bed. Get the game watched and then off on Tuesday. And then Wednesday we'll come back in, do first, second down. Thursday's third down, short yardage goal line, and then Friday's the red zone. And 2-minute, we'll be ready to roll.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
So without further ado, we've already had one guest on, but he's coming on for the encore for the game that he cares about. So we'll bring Bill back on. Then
Bill's back.
Then you can't talk Houston Roughneck without this guy. So let's bring him on. I call him Big Rig, but everybody else calls him the Rig Rocker.
Oh boy, the rig rocker. How you doing, my friend?
What the hell?
How's it going, fellas? How's it going?
You're used to this face because you're gonna see him on the TV all season long.
Oh yeah.
Doing great,
That's the guy
fellas.
that be
How's everybody tonight?
crying.
Is he crying?
Crying game one.
So let's break this down. We'll have Big Rig take the lid off so he can.
There you go.
So we've had a lot of
This
time.
prig don't never cry.
We've had a long time here. We haven't come down to Memphis's town hall, and so we've had a chance to really get to know the Memphis fan base and also Coach DiFilippo. And I've been in a couple Carnell Lakes press conferences as well. A lot of respect for the Memphis fan base. So I'll let Bill start off and kind of give us an idea of what he expects out of the shoot in week one.
I think I expect what everybody expects. We have no idea. I think we have a really solid team from start to finish. I don't see any deficiencies anywhere. I knew with defense last year we were okay. Offense we were shaky. Haley's system's a little shakier than Coach Flips is, but I think we're a lot better than we were last year. But like everybody else, until we see the first couple of weeks and figure out what everybody got, then we'll be able to really assess where the whole league is as a whole. But all these teams have great players now. When you lose 8 teams, you've just got great players all over the field. Look, we lost some players that in Memphis. It took a little bit of getting used to lose Derek Dillon. It was not easy here. He was probably him and Vinny, the two darlings of our team last year. So that was rough. But we knew those kind of things were coming. Coach Flip is a fantastic coach. We're excited to have him here. We're excited for the whole team. But I think game one we'll be in pretty good shape the first couple of weeks, and then we have to go to Birmingham, which will be a really good showdown, I think.
Well, I had the pleasure of sitting in on a Carnell Lake press conference, and one of the journalists asked him a question of what their game plan was going to be on defense going into week one, and he basically, without hesitating, said, "We will shut down their run game because that's what makes Houston go is their run game. So we will be shutting that down."
Yeah, we're happy to have him back. I mean, he was fantastic last year. He attacks. He goes after it. We're not. We'll put our ears back, and that's the best thing about our defense is they'll really get after it.
So
that's great.
I had a chance to interview Coach DiFilippo as well, and one of the biggest surprises, one of the things that he was most excited about was how the defense came together. He knew the offense. He had most of his offensive guys, as coaches and things like that. But he was really pleased with the way that the Memphis Showboats defense was coming together in practice and that sort of thing. So yeah, he was pretty excited about it. So I look at the roster and I see Big John Atkins is 320 in the middle. I think there's let's see, where's it at? I just had it pulled up here. Dalen Mack at a D tackle is 340. They got some big dudes sitting in the middle of that defensive line. So they're going to have.
You got Greg and McCullough on the outside, and they.
Yes,
I'm telling you, it is defensively we're probably 70% of where we were last year, but you add Diggs into it. It's some all USFL players to what we already had, and defensively we're stacked as much as we are on offense, and people are just not talking about the defense because it's basically what he had last year with all pro players on top of it. So, but like we all said, until we see it on the field, it's really hard to discern anything. Coach Flip has been fantastic for the yacht club and all the people here in Memphis. He's given us a lot of time. We were excited about kicking it off. We're glad we're not playing on Easter here. Here we're playing down there. Easter in Memphis is also a place that you just don't want to play a game, but it is what it is.
So
yes.
What I thought was interesting then is after the Carnell Lake press conference later on that day, CJ Johnson had a press conference, and the same journalist that asked Carnell Lake about what they were going to do to Houston's offense, that he asked the same question to CJ, and he told CJ what Carnell Lake had said. And so CJ kind of perks up a little bit, and he says, well, you know, this is a coaching fraternity, so I'm not going to say anything bad about Carnell Lake. He goes, I have a lot of respect for him, but he said, make no mistake, we're going to do what we do, no matter what the other team says.
Okay. I hope so. I hope so. Ball every down.
So anyway, Big Rig, having said that, I kind of segue into you. So what's your take on week one?
I really think it's going to be I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be a battle. You know, I don't know. I'll be honest. As far as with the Houston Roughnecks, you know, with them being the Gamblers last year, I really don't know much about them as far as, you know, the players themselves. But, you know, I went to the meet and greet with here in Houston and got to meet Coach CJ, and he really talks a lot about the defense. He's building his team on the defense, and unfortunately, he built the offense around, you know, Mark Thompson. Now we're looking at him being missing some time. So, you know, it's going to be a rough. It's going to be rough, but I think with the defense, I think it's going to be a close game between two of them. You know, so offensively, Gontarian, who is that? You know, is it just Pledger coming in? I think is going to be our starter for the first week. You know, just with Thompson being out, but you know, quarterback wise, I really don't see us having a strong quarterback, but I think it'll be all right.
So you think they're gonna?
I have faith in CJ, Coach CJ, with his decisions.
So, what are you anticipating then for crowd? Have you heard anything so far?
I mean, I've seen a lot of people saying they're going to be there. I can see us getting, even with it being Easter Sunday, I can see us getting 11, which I think is going to help us out with it being a home game. You know, a lot of these guys haven't played in front of the big crowds. So, you know, just getting in there and these players are going to be pumped up just being in front of a home crowd like that. And I think it's going to be tough.
So now that we got two guests here, now we got two guest picks. So we're going to go with Bill first.
Where did Dirty go?
We don't care. We don't care, Bill.
Yeah.
He's not here. We're good with that.
I had
He
him,
runs everything.
under contract for like 3 minutes worth of DC talk, and then he was gone.
Yeah, we don't. We're taking care of the show tonight. He has no power to just jump in when he wants, so he's gone. He's gone.
And since
But I know he's watching, and you're gone.
Yeah, now that Eric's down the gauntlet, he knows, but he'll try.
Yeah,
He'll try. So, Bill, I'll let you go first then. Why and what?
I think you know, game one, a lot of the kinks are getting worked out of all these teams. I think this game, I had a couple people I was talking to. I think it'll be the Showboats will win 30-16. It'll be somewhere in that kind of range. It'll be close for a while, and then they'll pull away. You know, we got a lot of firepower. I don't know. Coach Flip hadn't named the quarterback yet, and I think it's pretty close between 1 and 2. Josh Love is just, you know, catching up because he's behind, but you know, we got 3 really good quarterbacks. We got 3 really good running backs. We got 8 really good receivers. You know, we lost one of our linemen that I thought would start on any other year. But I think it'll be around 30-16, something like that. Showboats will win the first game, and then we'll come home and have the opener next week where we'll destroy the Brahmas. I mean, just come on. It's going to be a bloodbath. Oh, you can't say bloodbath. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I can't say that.
I wanted to say I've watched the show. Y'all do a great job. I want to shout out to Brett. Brett's done a lot of work behind the scenes for a lot of us. And we appreciate all he does. We have to do this as a group, and as fans, we have to, for the first couple of years, really be all together. We can punch at each other about this and that, but to make this league successful, we're all going to have to do it together. And it's not I want to win as much as anybody else, but I enjoyed last year way more than we thought we would. And even being 5-5, we had a blast. This is a great product. It's a lot of fun to see in person. I don't know what St. Louis is doing. I guess what do y'all have in the water there? I think St. Louis, the way they treated you guys with the Rams is the reason that you have such a passion for football. That was not a city deal. That was a terrible owner deal. But I appreciate all you guys do. All you guys work hard. Arlington and Dirty even does a good job. But I appreciate all you do. And Ed, I got a package I'm sending you tomorrow. So look forward on Thursday.
Awesome. I'll be flying the fuel flag high.
You'll be flying a bunch. You'll be flying a bunch of flags.
That's right.
Pack of flags.
Okay, Big Rig, it's your turn. What do
I
you
don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be close. I think with the Houston fans, I think they're going to pull it out. I think it's going to be a real close one, but I'm going to say Houston by 4. I think they'll get the crowd behind them and really pull it together. But I don't see it being in the high 20s. I see it low 20s, even into the teens. But I see Houston taking this one by, I would say 4. I just really think the crowd's going to really play into this one.
Uh-oh, he's got something for you here.
That don't exist no more, Bill. That don't exist no more.
This was a great logo.
That's extinct.
I'm hoping they take this to Las Vegas. That would be the perfect place for it.
Yeah, that would make sense.
There you go.
There it is.
There it
Oh,
is.
look at that. Fly those colors. Just don't cross
every single game this year, Bill. I'll even be coming to Memphis.
Well,
I'll even be coming to Memphis for a game in Memphis.
We'll have a big tailgate. We do a big tailgate every week, so you come and drink some beer, and sit with us, and we'll have a great time. So come on out. Look, we're under construction, so it's going to be a lot of craziness. You just get with me before you get here. We'll tell you what to do, where to go, and how to do it.
Yeah, it'll be me and the Predator couple. We're traveling every game this year. So,
awesome.
I'm
looking forward to coming up there and meeting you.
I'm gonna take Memphis. I got mad respect for Coach DeFilippo.
Yeah, I thought we were friends.
I think
he's smart. He's a smart guy.
I just think he's the real deal.
No, don't say that.
It has nothing to do with the fact
ask Ed about the shirt I got him last year.
It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that he coached the Minnesota Vikings a few years back.
He's got all the oldies. He's just parading them across. Look at that.
Okay, Eric.
All right. I'm sorry, Rig, man. I see a Memphis. I honestly, aside from maybe the Birmingham game, this is the one that, again, I agree with Bill. This is like putting all the teams in a wool sock, shaking around, see what we have. I understand that. But I think, just what I see on paper, and again, it's a long way from paper. I think this game to me smells like the biggest spread of the weekend. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking more along the lines of the 30 plus to somewhere around 17, 18. The loss of Thompson really hurt you guys, I know. But I do, like I said, I've interviewed Coach DeFilippo a couple times, and I tell you what, man, I do think Memphis's defense is gonna really give Houston problems on Sunday. So I'm sorry, Rick, but I think this might be the biggest spread of the week. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's a lot closer than that. But I think it's probably going to be.
Before Brett says anything, let me ask this: with Memphis's offense, how close is it to last year's offense?
I think
Totally
it's
different.
I think it's better.
180-degree difference.
I think it's better.
Last year they only averaged 19 points a game, so that's far cry.
Last year we had Todd Haley. He was not a good offensive coach. Just saying. Love Todd. Todd was great here in the city.
You're gonna be in Houston, Bill.
Struggle.
You gonna be in
Coming
Houston,
to
Bill?
Houston for the game?
We're working on it. We have some family issues going on here. I lost an aunt the other day, so we're having some things we got to take care of here. I'm supposed to be in Dallas and Houston, but we're working on that right now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's family comes first, before anything else. So we're working on all that
Absolutely.
right now. I was late getting home today to get over here to do this, but we're working on it.
If you
I love
do,
Houston.
please
All my
hit
family's
me
from
up.
Houston and Orange and Port Arthur. They're all down there. That's where she lives. So we love coming to Houston, and that's my second favorite city. I was an Oiler fan from the time I was growing up. The first player I ever saw was Earl Campbell, and I thought I was hooked on the Oilers from then on. And they moved up here, and we became Titans fans. So and a lot of Houston people hate me for that, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Okay, Brett.
Well, if you
Brett.
make Houston, look me up.
I will, for sure.
Man, Memphis is definitely a potential championship team on both sides of the ball. They've just got to answer Riggs' question as directly as possible. Not even close to the same offense as last year. Memphis is the real deal. Can Houston win at home on Easter Sunday? Absolutely, but I wouldn't count on it, and I wouldn't bet on it. Memphis by 2 touchdowns.
Well, I want to thank both of you for coming on. It won't be your last time, I know. Bill, don't forget to when Memphis comes to St. Louis in week 4, don't forget to hook up with us. We'll be looking for you at the tailgate, that's for sure.
We'll do it. Drink some beer, and we'll have a good time. I'll have to fight everybody. Look at it. What is that? What is that?
The way it sounds, there's going to be a bunch of tugboats or cruise ships or something coming up.
Remember this face, Bill. Remember this face.
It is scary. So for sure.
So thanks again for coming on, guys. This is going to end the segment for the Fuel Sports Network. When we come back from commercial, we will be on just our Facebook page. So any of you watching on Fuel, if you want to continue to listen to the show, go over to Facebook. We'll see you again after this short break.
Thanks, fellas.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, and play pretend. Came off the
Boy, I tell you what, Eric, this TV network thing really plays havoc with schedules because I could have talked to those guys forever.
Oh, keeping it to a 15-minute segment's really tough, man. I think if we get into the season, we're gonna have to go to 2 hours, and we're gonna have to give a half an hour to each game. I mean, I think it's just gonna have to happen.
Yeah, and when you're the number one viewed show, you kind of get priority, right?
That's right. We should have priority, right? That's how it works.
This hour is for the birds. So.
That's right. That's right.
So I got to go back to one game because I don't think I wrote down your prediction. The DC San Antonio game. Who did
San Antonio. I went with Leo. I think we're gonna see how big Abram Smith was to the DC defenders. I think. I mean, again, as I've said this a couple times, it's like putting all the teams in a wool sock, shaking them up, and see what we got. But I think Abram Smith's going to be a bigger hit than maybe they're anticipating. So, we'll see. But it could be DC by 14. But I think that's a big hit for a team that wants to run. So somebody's going to have to pick up the rock and take it from there. So we'll see if it happens. And I agree, Jersey, paper don't play on the field. But I'm telling you, when you look at some of these games, Memphis, against Houston, for example, Memphis, to me, Memphis just looks a lot better on paper. I feel bad for Rig, but I think they're in for a long day, a long game on Sunday. I think, it's Memphis is better on both sides of the ball. You could maybe throw some comparisons out defensive wise, but I think Memphis is head and shoulders above better on offense. And I think that's where it's going to show up on Sunday. So, I mean, we're all UFL fans, but if we're going to sit here and pick games, we got to pick games based on how we're seeing it. So somebody's going to be happy and somebody's not going to be happy. So I guess that's what we got to go with.
We've had a lot of access to the Memphis team.
Yeah, and that could be a little bit of it too, but because we've learned a lot more about them with the access that we've had to the showboats, which has been great. Thank you to the Memphis showboats and the openness that you've had. We've had some great interviews. Coach DiFilippo is great. I just think the excitement, the culture, that he's bringing to Memphis is really going to reflect. And I do think that, I mean, you still got to play the games out, but I'm telling you right now, I have the Birmingham-Memphis game circled because that's going to be a real measuring stick, I think, as to where, Memphis is. And so, with you and I, for example, we may be Battlehawk fans. That's fine. But you know what? I'm still going to support Houston. I'm still going to support Memphis. I'm still going to support DC. I'm still going to support all teams, and we're going to cover all those teams. And I'm hoping to have each team flag back here eventually. But, you got to have a favorite. And, obviously I'm a Battlehawk fan, but I'm going to support these other teams as much as we can. Because I tell you what, spring football is upon us, boys. And I'm excited to get going and see what we got on the field so we can really start breaking these games down and really start recognizing the strengths and weaknesses of these teams, not just based on the paper, but based on what we actually see on the field. That's going to be the fun part.
I would be surprised. It's easy to get our preconceived notion in our head of what all these teams are going to be. But I truly feel like there's going to be a couple surprise teams after week one that we're going to be like, whoa, maybe we'll give another look at this.
100%.
They talked about the coachings. I heard from several coaches that, a couple of years ago, they had a week and a half training camp. Last week they had last year they had a couple weeks. This year is really the first year that they got a full month of training camp. So I think you're going to see a lot of these teams that are going to be a lot more well-oiled machines right out of the gate versus last year, when they're still kind of feeling each other out yet.
Right. And plus, we talked about it with the Battlehawks. You've got familiarity, AJ McCarron's throwing the ball to a lot of familiar faces. And so, and you have that on a lot of the teams. And now they've had a month to work together and things like that. So, I mean, I think the brand of football we're going to see is going to be great. I think if you're not watching the UFL, you're missing the boat. And I don't care what game it is. You can have a favorite team. That's fine. But I plan on watching every single one of these games because I think I can't wait for the Birmingham Arlington game. I can't wait for the DC San Antonio game. I can't wait for the Memphis Houston game. I want to watch them all, just to kind of see where we're at and kind of see where these teams play out, so we can eliminate the whole paper thing and actually see kind of where we're at and see where where everybody's strengths and weaknesses are. So I think it's going to be great. What do you think, Brett?
Man, we are going to have some polished polished football. And I'm glad you brought that up, Ed, about the full month of camp. I think that makes a world of difference. Year one with the USFL, I think we only had 2.5 weeks, and then the XFL had an extra week and a half last year, and the USFL had an extra week, and you could tell a difference. But I think with a full month and the quality of players that we're all stacking on these rosters, man, I can't wait. And I'm with both of you. I know both of you same way I am. I'm gonna try to watch every game. If I can't watch it live, I will definitely watch them later. I mean,
Well, I'm recording all of them. I'm recording all.
I don't intend on missing one game.
No.
And
one game last year that I missed. I watched every game. I broke down every game. I couldn't wait to watch every game. I had to put Susie's comment up there because he agrees with me. Otherwise,
Of course, you're producing, so you can put that.
There wasn't much value to it other than the fact that he agreed with me. So that was the big thing.
And earlier on, now that we've gone through the games and we've
there was a comment
with 5 questions.
Yep, I'll put that back up.
Can you put that back up just so we can kind of run through those? We weren't intentionally passing by it. I think it was Mike.
Yeah,
Mike Tackett or whatever.
Yes. We weren't
Yeah, I
intentionally
saw that
passing
as
by
well.
it.
I wanted to address a couple of those.
I knew that was going to be a lot more time than we had.
Yes.
So here it is right here.
But I'll take I'll go. Why don't you talk about the attendance, Brett? What you think it's going to be coming from the USFL side?
Well, I talked to some people in the know today because I got a couple phone calls and a couple of messages in regards to that subject. And guys, I want to mention I don't want anybody to panic this weekend, but I've watched or been to every Stallions game in Birmingham. I'd say 16, 17 games the first 2 years. And by far, and I mentioned this to Ed earlier, the worst attended game by far, and it was not even close, was I want to say year one when we had a 11, 12 o'clock Easter Sunday game. There couldn't have been 3,000, 3,500 people in the stands. You're going to see some lighter attended games in this first weekend than what you would anticipate, especially on Sunday. But I have talked to people that know what they're talking about, and they're very happy with ticket sales and Birmingham, Memphis, and they do anticipate the USFL, and they're already showing signs that the USFL is selling a lot more tickets, a week and 2 weeks, in Birmingham's case, 3 weeks from opening weekend compared to what they were last season. St. Louis is doing their thing. I do think there might be a little issue, and I was told there might be a little issue with the first week or two in Houston. They're in a new stadium. A few months ago, they thought that their brand and their name had been moved and changed, and they were going to become the Gamblers. That plays a part. The fact that you're in a new stadium and your first game is on Easter Sunday. So, I've already saw some negativity online about that. And from the league reps I've spoken to, we're in really good shape moving forward, for the rest of the season, but it might not be what we want week one, especially on Sunday. But other than that, I'm hearing some really good things about the attendance, and we can move on to something else on Mike's questions.
Yeah, I'll look at that second one. We've got a lot of things, especially brewing, for opening weekend. I don't know, it would have been nice for them to either move it up, a week to kind of get it started and things like that. Obviously, March Madness is going to take some people away. We know that in these opening weekends, with Easter Sunday and things like that. I would say, just pump the brakes a little bit. Let's not push the panic button if we see some of these attendances, not being all that good. If they come out with some of the TV ratings and they're not all that good initially, because this is, if you want to look at the season, more as a marathon instead of a sprint, these first couple weeks, with basketball and things like that are going to put a strain on it. So, just relax a little bit. Don't panic. Don't lose your minds. Let's just kind of see how this marathon plays out rather than just this, first weekend sprint that we're going to see here up against March Madness and some other things.
And I guess I can take question 3. Will we really see a raise in competition with fewer teams? I'm going to answer that with an overwhelming yes, because every time we've been in a press conference with any coach, no matter who it's been, the first comment they make is the quality of the talent that all these teams have. And even some of the players we've had a chance to talk to, their first comment is all about the level of the talent in the league. I think without question that you're going to see better football. I don't even think that's in question. So let's see. What do we got for question 4? Will Fox and ESPN promote the UFL more than what they have so far as it progresses?
I don't know, I guess, what level of promotion Mike's talking about here. I would say, I watch Fox Sports 1, pretty much all morning long and most of the afternoon. It's on my TV, and I see UFL commercials constantly as far as promoting and things. And I've heard that I think, is it ESPN or Fox? One of them is kind of has a show developing or in development that is going to follow or cover the UFL.
ESPN.
Sunday
nights.
Somewhere. Yeah, I thought I read that somewhere that when all the games were over with, that they were going to have a kind of a follow-up show to kind of break the games out and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know, other than commercials that I see running consistently on FS, on Fox and FS1. I mean, I think they've done an adequate job.
Hey, I'm constantly, I wanted to jump on that with you, Eric, and piggyback on that, because someone else made a comment in my group a few days ago, and then someone called me about it. And I said, fellas, I don't know what you're talking about. Now, I'm constantly on ESPN, like you, Fox Sports, Fox News, and I'm going to tell you, if I've seen a UFL commercial once, I've seen 200. I've seen a ton of UFL commercials on those channels that I'm typically on. So I don't know the people that are saying they're not seeing that. I don't know what channels they watch, because I've seen a ton.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that it's out there more. I mean, I don't know, maybe you're just not watching the same channels I do, but I see it every day. So I think they're doing a pretty good job that way.
And then, can spring football work? I truly believe this is our final chance we'll have with spring football, sink or swim. I guess what I would say to that is this is, the third year in a row for a redo. And I will say that we probably are in the best position we've been to date so far with this year. And I truly believe that this year is gonna be a home run. I think that all the naysayers, I can hear them already after week 1. They're going to talk about attendance, even though you got March Madness and even though you got Easter and everything involved, they're going to want to pounce on attendance. It's going to all be about attendance. So I think once we get clear of March Madness and we get the Easter holiday behind us and all that stuff, I think you're really looking at this league taking off. Look no farther than DC last year. They struggled out of the chute with attendance.
Right.
But then they gained momentum as the year went on, and by the end of the year, they had a sellout. So, for everybody to pounce on the first week or two, I think you're going to be mistaken. And,
Right.
And I think true football fans are gonna see that this is truly, the quality is there. So
Absolutely. And
if you
again,
like,
let me
go
go
ahead.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just saying, how I got involved in spring football, definitely was because of my uncle and my cousin. We obviously don't root for the same NFL team, And living in St. Louis, they're stuck with the Cardinals, which, makes me want to vomit. But because being a Cubs fan, I mean, I wish I had the picture to bring up. I wore my Cubs gear to Amanda's wedding. So, what the Battlehawks gave us was something in common. And I look on the Battlehawks and I see, Willie Harvey and Hakeem Butler and Mike Rose, all Iowa State grads, and I was an Iowa State grad. I mean, there's a reason. You can find reasons to hook to one of these teams, whether it be location or, again, schools you graduated from, whatever, players you get to watch that aren't in the NFL, but, you get to watch them play in the UFL. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons, and just your love of football. Heck, you don't even have to be a Showboat fan or a Birmingham Stallions fan or whatever. Just enjoy the game of football. And I think the product that you're going to see on the field this year is going to be heads above what you saw last year. And I think if they learn some things from the past, you're going to see a different product. You're going to see spring football take off. And if it doesn't, well, I guess, it doesn't. But I really do think this year is going to be a good stepping stone for future teams and ownership and things like that. But I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I really think we have an opportunity here to really make that happen.
So having said that, week 1 is fast approaching, and we gave you what we thought was the bottom line. Next week, we'll see how we did on our picks, but we'll break down week 2, and we will maybe go with a little bit different format because I really would like to spend a little more time than what we got to spend on each matchup. But we'll definitely keep fine-tuning this. In the meantime, good luck to all your teams. Hope everybody's team wins, even though that's not going to happen. But
except for Michigan.
Have a
good luck to everybody but Michigan.
I'm going to be making my trek to Michigan, hopefully to see a Battlehawks victory. But we'll be talking next week on the other end. We'll see you again. We'll talk to you next week.